Kuya, pwede mong gawin yan?
Mag?
Gawin mo computer.
Wala na, ano na yung isa.
Mapapabilis talaga ang gawain at paglinis ng bakuran kapag meron ka nitong grass rake gardening tools o kalaykay dahil napakadali na lang maglinis at magdakot ng mga basura gamit itong kalaykay na ito na nagmula pa sa Japan. At alam mo ba na dati itong 389
Congelar en segundos, este prototipo es muy interesante. Son materiales reciclado y fácil de conseguir, es un mini aire acondicionado que ocupa gas de un encendedor o yesquero. El video completo en mi canal de YouTube, suscríbete. Congelar en segundos, este prototipo es muy interesante. Son materiales reciclado y fácil de conseguir, es un mini aire acondicionado.
Huwag muna kayong bibili ng solar fan na to, itest muna natin yung performance niya. Wala kang babayadan sa kuryente dito basta gagamitin mo yung kanyang solar panel. Ito ay 5 watts 9 volts. May kasama din itong dalawang LED light na mayroong power button. Madali nga lang pala ito ikabit, kahit hindi mo basahin yung manual ay magagawa mo. Dalawang level yung lakas niya, pero kahit nasa number 1 pa lang ay malakas na. Nagro-rotate na rin nga pala ito, kaya kahit marami kayong nakahiga ay mahahanginan niya. Kung brown out naman sa gabi, pwede mong pagsabayin yung dalawang LED light niya. At bukod pa doon, may built-in LED na rin nga pala ito sa baba. Gumagana rin nga pala ito ng sabay-sabay, no? Tapos yung hangin niya maikumpara mo talaga doon sa malalaking electric pan na 220 volts, talagang malakas din nga siya. Pwede ka rin nga pala mag-charge ng cellphone dito, kasi sa baba niya meron siyang isang 5 volts USB port. Kapag tirik na tirik yung araw, talagang unlimited hangin ka dito. Yung tag-araw pa, talagang masusulit natin yung libreng kuryente. Pero kung maulan naman, pwede mo naman siyang i-charge gamit sa kuryente. Hindi mo na rin dito kailangan ng mga special chargers pa kasi direkta na siya. Kumbaga, para ka lang talaga nagsaksak ng mga electric pan mo, no? Yun nga lang dito, pwede sa solar, pwede sa kuryente. At bukod pa nga dito, pwede mo palitan yung kanyang battery. Madali ka lang nga pala makakahanap ng battery pampalit dito. Ang battery kasi nito ay 6 volt sealed lead acid battery lamang. Tinest ko na rin nga pala ang capacity ng kanyang battery. At nakakuha naman ako dito ng mahigit 3 ampere hour. Hindi ko na siya sinagad ng 0% kasi baka naman malobat ng sobra. Ay ngayon ang tanong, gaano naman siya katagal bago malobat? So gagamit ako ngayon ng meter para malaman natin kung anong oras siya bago mamatay. Matipid din nga pala sa power yung kanyang level 1 kasi nasa 4 watts lamang mahigit. Patay na nga pala yung pan at base dito sa ating meter ay umabot naman siya ng mahigit 4 hours. O diba matagal na rin yung 4 hours? Pero kung nakakunik ka naman sa solar panel, unlimited hangin ka naman dito. Overall, napaka-useful talaga ng solar pan na to. Makakalibre ka talaga sa kuryente kung gagamitin mo yung kanyang solar panel. I-click mo na lang yung yellow basket kung kailangan mo to, and I'll see you sa next video.
Kasalanan niya ng framers na.
Hindi na dapat magpahuli sa ating trending mini CCTV na ginagamit ng mga detective sa ibang bansa. Dati itong 5,000 pesos ngayon ay mabibili mo na lang ng 200 to 300 pesos. Ito man ay maliit, hindi ito mabilis malobat dahil meron itong enhanced battery na naka-built-in dito. Magaganda ang feedback nito, madaling i-install, libre ang surveillance site kung saan marirecord ang mga nakuha ng eksena. Meron din itong kasamang memory card na kayang maglaman ng 52 on 100 record na puro 24-hour scene. Malinaw ang camera nito, kaya ano pang inaantay mo? Check out na!
Okay, so the breaking news that we're hearing is coming out of the U.S. In the U.S. city of Baltimore, a major bridge has collapsed into the water after being struck by a cargo ship. This is the moment. The vessel caught fire on impact, and the vehicles that are seen on the bridge sank into the water, as did the bridge. Baltimore police say that workers might be in the water right now. It's unclear how many people have been injured. Okay, we'll bring you more on this as soon as we get information. This is the latest footage of that moment coming out of Baltimore in the U.S.
We got some new video just into CNN. This is from a traffic camera on the Francis Scott Key Bridge. This is the first time I'm seeing it as well. It shows the moments just before the ship crashed into the bridge, causing the bridge to collapse. In the distance, what you can see there is a flashing light. That is believed to be of the construction crew. Then there it is on the right side of the screen. You can see the boat slowly beginning to approach the bridge. Ultimately, as the boat makes contact with the bridge, the video is just completely lost. The video goes out. But you can see an empty bridge here at this point because police were able to clear it and stop drivers on each side. But you do see the lights of what is believed to be that construction crew. We got some new video just into CNN. This is from a traffic camera on the Francis Scott.
On March 26, Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed into the harbor after a container ship smashed into one of the pylons supporting the structure. At least 6 people have lost their lives. It will cost at least $600 million to rebuild the bridge, and probably a lot more. Both road and water traffic have been delayed, the supply chain has been disrupted, and insurers could face up to $4 billion in damages. But there's one question everyone keeps asking: who's legally responsible? So here's what we know about how the collision unfolded. At about 12:45 a.m., the container ship Dali left the port of Baltimore down the Patapsco River on its way to Sri Lanka. The ship is owned by Grace Owen Private Limited and managed by a company called Synergy Marine Group, both of which are headquartered in Singapore. In the first statement about the collision, Synergy Group said that the ship was, quote, under pilotage with 2 pilots on board. Pilotage of international trade vessels in the United States is regulated by the federal government and by the 24 coastal states. Under Maryland law, quote, each American vessel engaged in foreign trade and each foreign vessel shall employ a licensed pilot to pilot the vessel when it is underway on the navigable waters of the state. That means local pilots have to guide large ships in and out of the harbor because these pilots are experts in the narrow passageways, shallow waters, and traffic patterns. This is not an easy feat given the massive size of these container ships.
You have probably seen them on the bay, huge container ships longer than several football fields, moving heavy equipment like cars and farm machinery.
And you can see in this video what it was like for pilots on their way to board a large ship off of Cape Henry.
Next time I go down the bay, I am going to take Dramamine pills because that little boat gets a little rough down there at the entrance of Cape Henry.
So in the early hours of March 26, 2 harbor pilots had already boarded the Dali, where they prepared to guide the vessel to open water. Morgan McManus, captain of a trading ship, told Fast Company it typically takes 4 pilots to maneuver under a bridge, 3 of who travel with the boat and 1 from the harbor. The ship also has red and green lights to show the pilots the safest place to pass. The ship started its turn toward the Key Bridge at about 12:56 a.m. At 1:25 a.m., the ship reached a speed of about 8 knots, about 9 miles per hour. But it will cost at least $600 million to rebuild the bridge, and probably a lot more. Both road and water traffic have been delayed, the supply chain has been disrupted, and insurers could face up to $4 billion in damages. But there's one question everyone keeps asking: who's legally responsible? So here's what we know about how the collision unfolded. At about 12:45 a.m., the container ship Dali left the port of Baltimore down the Patapsco River on its way to Sri Lanka. The ship is owned by Grace Owen Private Limited and managed by a company called Synergy Marine. Group, both of which are headquartered in Singapore. In the first statement about the collision, Synergy Group said that the ship was, quote, under pilotage with 2 pilots on board. Pilotage of international trade vessels in the United States is regulated by the federal government and by the 24 coastal states. Under Maryland law, quote, each American vessel engaged in foreign trade and each foreign vessel shall employ a licensed pilot to pilot the vessel when it is underway on the navigable waters of the state. That means local pilots have to guide large ships in and out of the harbor because these pilots are experts in the narrow passageways, shallow waters, and traffic patterns. This is not an easy feat given the massive size of these container ships.
You have probably seen them on the bay, huge container ships longer than several football fields, moving heavy equipment like cars and farm machinery.
And you can see in this video what it was like for pilots on their way to board a large ship off of Cape Henry.
Next time I go down the bay, I am going to take Dramamine pills because that little boat gets a little rough down there at the entrance of Cape Henry.
So in the early hours of March 26, 2 harbor pilots had already boarded the Dali, where they prepared to guide the vessel to open water. Morgan McManus, captain of a trading ship, told Fast Company it typically takes 4 pilots to maneuver under a bridge, 3 of who travel with the boat and 1 from the harbor. The ship also has red and green lights to show the pilots the safest place to pass. The ship started its turn toward the Key Bridge at about 12:56 a.m. At 1:25 a.m., the ship reached a speed of about 8 knots, about 9 miles per hour. But 1 minute later, at 1:26, the ship lost power and the crew made a mayday call. You can see from the video that the ship is almost in total darkness at this time. According to 911 records, a dispatcher said,
there's a ship approaching, has just lost their steering. So until you get that under control, we gotta stop all traffic.
Luckily, emergency responders stopped traffic by 1:28 a.m. Once the mayday call went out to the authorities, the crew tried to deploy an anchor. However, if the ship had lost power steering, it would have been hard for it to come to a full stop anyway. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said,
"The impact of this collision we're talking about is not just as big as a building, it's really as big as a block. 100,000 tons all going into this pier all at once."
Indeed, the Dali was 948 feet long and 157 feet wide. At 1:29 a.m., the boat lost speed and then slammed into a column holding up the bridge, sending a 1,200-foot section of the structure into the river. A highway construction crew was fixing potholes on the bridge when it collapsed. 8 people fell into the water. 2 were rescued, but 6 others were killed. The workers were from Mexico, Guatemala, and El Salvador. It took 4 minutes from the Mayday call for the bridge to partially collapse, and Governor Wes Moore said the bridge was up to code. So in this situation, who's liable for this crash? Well, the first defendant you would look to sue is Dali's owner. If reports are accurate that the ship experienced a sudden power failure, investigators will need to find the root cause. Was there an equipment failure? How come there wasn't a backup power generator? What about the collision avoidance equipment? Was the crew negligent? We don't know the answer to any of these questions yet. However, the ships have many levels of redundancy and warnings to prevent exactly this kind of thing. As Fast Company explains here, ships today are equipped with redundant systems for maintaining steering control, typically including 2 autopilot systems in addition to hand steering controls, as well as alarm systems that can alert crews to complications. But ship owners also have a way of limiting their liability. As we discussed in the OceanGate submarine video, after the 1912 Titanic disaster, surviving family members sought compensation from the White Star Line, but the company used the Limitation Act of 1851 to limit its liability. This law gives ship owners the right to preemptively file a claim in federal court before plaintiffs have a chance to sue them. The owners can also raise the act as an affirmative defense if they're sued in federal court. And the act limits plaintiffs to post-loss value of the vessel and its cargo, basically the value of its pending freight. The purpose of the law is to help ship owners avoid bankruptcy, and it works. If a vessel and cargo are completely lost, the value of the vessel cannot be calculated in the owner's assets. And in 1915, a judge found that White Star Line was not guilty and had no knowledge of the errors that led to the sinking of the Titanic. Since the accident was considered the fault of the Titanic's captain and crew, the company's liability was limited to passenger fares, the amount paid for cargo, and any salvage materials recovered from the wreck. The company settled for $664,000 to be divided in a pro rata share among survivors. And a federal court recently explained that, quote, "The animating premise of the Limitation Liability Act is that the owner of a vessel is generally an absentee who entrusts the vessel to the command of a captain whom the owner has limited ability to supervise or control once the vessel is on the sea. When there's an injury or loss of life on a commercial vessel, current law requires the owners to make a deposit with the limitation fund to cover the losses. And in this case, that will only impact seamen and other maritime workers. The Limitation Act doesn't apply to wrongful death claims that arise out of maritime accidents that do not happen on a water vessel. So presumably the deaths of the highway crew would not be impacted by the Limitation Act. However, there is an exception to the Limitation Act. When a vessel owner has privity or knowledge of the negligent acts, the act does not apply. Whether the Limitation Act applies in this situation depends on what happened on the Dali and whether the owner knew about the issues that may have led to the failure. Privity or knowledge can be actual or constructive, and is present where the exercise of reasonable diligence could have prevented the commission of the act. Thus, the key question for limiting liability is not what the corporation's officers and managers actually knew, but what they objectively ought to have known. Courts typically find an owner cannot limit its liability when it fails to implement or monitor established safety procedures, and this is what happened when the USS John McCain collided with a Liberian-flagged oil tanker, leading to the deaths of 10 Navy sailors. In that case, a federal court declined to apply the Limitation Act because the owners of the vessel had been warned about safety and staffing issues and did not take action. And whether the Dali's ownership knew about problems with the Dali will also be important in wrongful death claims brought by the workers' families. U.S. Coast Guard Rear Admiral Shannon Gilreath said that the ship was going to undergo routine engine maintenance before it lost power, but he said authorities were not informed of any problems. Though apparently during a stop at the port of San Antonio in Chile, authorities cited the Dali for problems with its propulsion and auxiliary machinery back in June of 2023. That comes from the shipping information site Equisys. However, we don't know anything else about the alleged problem. The Chilean Navy issued a statement confirming its inspection of the vessel, but indicating only that there was a problem with the pressure gauges of the fuel heaters, which was fixed before the ship left port. The U.S. Coast Guard inspected the ship in September of 2023, but noted no deficiencies. We also know that the Dali's hull was damaged in a 2016 accident. Dutch cargo company Maersk, which handled shipping contracts for the Dali, was cited by OSHA last summer for violating the Seaman Protection Act after it fired a whistleblower, quote, who had complained about safety violations to the U.S. Coast Guard. We don't know if this is related or not. Under the Seaman Protection Act, though, employees cannot face retaliation if they report maritime safety violations to the U.S. Coast Guard or other federal agencies. Now, there's obviously going to be a ton of lawsuits about this bridge. If you or a loved one was in a catastrophic accident like a giant bridge collapse or just your garden variety car crash, my law firm, the Eagle Team, can help. We can represent you or help find you the right attorney who can. It's so important to talk to a lawyer right away so you don't lose your chance for a full recovery and maximize your options. So just click on the link in the description for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle Team. The link is below. But one thing is for certain, there's going to be a bonanza of claims and cross and counterclaims as well. It looks like the US government will bear the cost of repairing the bridge, but there's also other damages. The cost of cleanup in the harbor, damages to vehicles, payments to the victims' families, and interruption to other businesses. With respect to delays caused by the crash, the ship might be off the hook. For example, Domino Sugar is located right near the bridge and will probably suffer significant shipping delays. However, most business interruption losses will not be recoverable from the Dolly's ownership because of the 1927 Supreme Court case called Robbins Dry Dock and Repair Co. versus Flint. In that case, the court said that the plaintiff who suffered only economic loss because of another's negligence could not recover through a tort claim. So Domino Sugar probably can't sue the vessel's owners because there's not a contract between them, and the tort claim is not available. Of course, the ship owner will not be the only defendant in these actions. There are probably many different insurance companies with a stake in this litigation. The ship is insured through Britannia, which is one of the maritime insurance clubs that are under the International Group of P&I Clubs, a consortium that provides maritime liability coverage for 90% of ocean freight and pools liability claims among members. And a reinsurer then backs these maritime insurance companies. A reinsurer is a company which provides financial protection to the insurance companies themselves. It's basically insurance for the insurance. And CNN reported that around 80 different insurers provide around $3 billion in coverage to the Dolly's insurers. Barclays said that the total insurance claims could be between $1 and $3 billion. And since the risk is spread to many different companies, experts don't expect a huge spike in maritime insurance rates. Of course, all of these companies will be involved in the litigation. The NTSB and the Singapore shipping authorities are both conducting investigations, and personal injury lawyers are also looking at whether private engineering and construction companies were negligent, and state and federal agencies are also involved. And I'm sure experts will also assess whether there were any problems with the Key Bridge's design or upkeep. According to the American Road and Transportation Builders Association, more than 1/3 of America's bridges need repair, and the group classified over 43,000 bridges as structurally deficient, though you might expect the American Road and Transportation Builders Association to be a little liberal with what it calls defective, given that they have a vested interest in that. But most bridges were designed to last about 50 years, and the average age of an American bridge is 44 years. And often bridge maintenance gets deferred so that there's a backlog of maintenance and lack of funds to complete necessary repairs. So if there's an issue with the bridge, whose fault is it? Well, first we think about who owns and maintains the bridge. The defendants will include the state and multiple engineering firms. I'm sure all parties will hire expert witnesses to opine on whether the bridge should have been strong enough to withstand the impact. And this will be a complicated analysis. Maryland authorities will argue that since the bridge was up to code, their role in the bridge collapse was minimal to non-existent. Though there seems to be a growing consensus among engineers that nothing could have withstood this particular impact. And there have been some other accidents involving bridges that have led to huge jury verdicts and settlements. A pedestrian bridge at Florida International University collapsed on March 15, 2018, crushing cars and killing 6 people. The NTSB determined that the FIGG bridge engineers made design errors and failed to identify the risks associated with structural cracks in the bridge before it collapsed. And in that case, the Florida Department of Transportation argued that its involvement with the bridge was minimal since the local engineering and construction firms were under contract with the university, not the state. But the plaintiffs discovered evidence that companies involved in the design and construction ignored warnings that the bridge was likely to cause injuries and death. And as a result, the engineering firms settled with the victims for over $102 million in damages. But the Key Bridge collapse is the deadliest incident since the I-35 bridge collapse in Minneapolis in 2007, killing 13 people and injuring 145. That bridge was 40 years old at the time, and although Minneapolis owned and operated the bridge, it contracted with engineering and construction firms to maintain it.
And then
What
れてる。
貴様、俺のくせにそんなものも受けられんのか。
パパ、悟空さんが勝たなきゃパパ死んじゃうんだよ。ベジータのやつまた強くなりやがった。
もう我慢できん。パパ貴様はすでに空っぽの抜け殻だ。
おいおいベジータ、オラが勝たなきゃおめえ死んじまうんだろ。
さっさとカカロットなど倒してしまえ。
どっちの味方だよ。
スーパーサイヤ人ゴッドのパワーを持ったサイヤ人のスーパーサイヤ人だ。とうとう出してきたか。
スーパーサイヤ人ブルー、そっちこそな。パパ、
これを加えるんだ。少しなら時間を稼げるかもしれない。
こんな光景は二度と見られないぞ。ここは本当に安全なのか。どうしたらパパを助けられるんだ。
その通り、あれが超人水の核だ。
行くぞボタン。パパ、絶対助けるから。
超人水もあのパワーは手に入れたいはず。
いいぞ、なかなかいい推理だ。待てよザコ。うるさい、私は死にたくない。
何？
ほら、おめえを倒せばまた本物のベジータと戦えるけどよ。
なぜだ？なぜ俺はあの場にいない？
早く核を潰さないとパパが消えちゃう。パパ、よかった、間に合った。ベジータさん、ベジータ。
俺の体が。
よかったパパ。
まだまだ危険な存在。モナカさんのおかげで超人水は再び封印された。
そういやベジータ、大人のくせにおしゃぶり加えてたな。
あれがおしゃぶりだと。
知らなかったんか。
当たり前だ。
まだ決着もついてねんによ。
勝つのは俺だ。
トランクス、元気そうね。
はい。
これで片道分よ。
1年かけてこれだけ。
戻ってくる手はあるわ。ちょっとした賭けだけど。これを早くカプセルコーポレーションへ持っていかないと。
母さんはここで休んでいてください。
私も行くわよ。もしもということがあるわ。
わかりました。装置が。
トランクス、行きなさい。
母さん、母さん、
行きなさい。トランクス。
俺は必ずここに帰ってくる。
いやー、豊作豊作。
そうはいくか。 建物はまだ残っている。奴はタイムマシンのことは知らないはずだ。よし。
サイヤ人は本当に面白い。あの娘と同じところへすぐにお前も送ってやる。どこへ行った？隠れようとしても無駄だ。よし。完全に消えている。
絶対に無駄にはしない。
早く行こうぜ。手をつなぐなって。気をつけろ。宇宙人かもしれないぞ。なに、宇宙人ぐらい俺がやっつけてやるさ。
カプセルコーポレーションって書いてあるんですが。
ママ知ってるの？
ブルーの髪の色をした若い男の人じゃない？しっかりして、すぐにベジータを呼んでくるから。
なんでベジータさんを呼びに？
兄弟？ウィスさん、ウィスさん、もう早く出なさいよ。
食った食った。なかなかうまかったぞ。次は違う味で頼むぞ。
急いでベジータを呼んで。
どうしたブルマ？
つまらん連絡のためにそいつを渡したわけじゃないんだぞ。
つまらんって何よ。
何があった？
トランクスよ。こんな状態で帰ってきたの。
なんだと？
お前の父と母には大きな秘密があるようだぞ。
あんたたちちょっと黙ってて。はいソンク、センズ持ってる？
悪い、今持ってね
まず地球に戻るんだ。小さい方のトランクスはいるか？
ええ。
戦闘力を目いっぱい上げさせろ。
分かった。
いいぞトレーター。
僕たちも行くか。いいですね。
行くぞ。
パパ。
トランクス、あいつはカカロット。早く先祖取りに行け。
なぜこの世界から奴の気が消えた？私を誰だと思って？
リンボー、リンボー。おお、悟空か。ああ、そこの壺の中だ。
ありがてえ。今度は土産持ってくっぞ。
ピザがいいわ。
分かった、サンキュー。ベジー
タ。こんなに傷ついて。食べて。トランクス。
しっかりしろトランクス。おいトランクス。どうしたトランクス？
あんた何やってんの？
悟空さん。すみませんでした。
どういうことよ？
母さん、母さん。
どうしたのトランクス？
俺は来られたんだ。過去に父さん。
お坊ちゃまもトランクス。父さんとか母さんとか2人ともトランクス。
どっちも私とベジータの子供だからいいの。
同一人物？
それは今必要ないだ。落ち着くんです。つけている方が。
嘘みたい。
乗ってみたいな。
君が赤ちゃんの時に俺は君に会ってるんだよ。
人間が作るなんて不可能だと思っていました。重い罪になると知っていましたか？
星のどこを探っても 奴の気は全く感じ取れない。あの時この空間で
時間は一定の方向にしか流れないものです。時間の安易な移動は神々でさえ固く禁じられているのです。
待ってください、神様。本当の神様。母は悪くありません。
どういたしますか、ビルス様。
今までに食べたことがないとびっきりの美味なるものなら手を打とう。なんだこれは。
なんでしょう。
はい、あんたたちも。
無天老師様んとこの修行。
大変だべー。タイムマシンが来たんだ。
タイムマシンだって。
行ってくる。
地球よりも今度のテストが一大事だべ。未来の私の頭の中覗きたい。私の字、私のノートだわ。
奴は孫悟空と名乗りました。何？
そりゃぶったまげたな。
奴は地球に現れたその日、地球人を全滅させると。奴はすでにいくつもの星やそこの人々を滅ぼしてきたとも言っていました。母さんも俺がこの時代に来る直前におめおめとこの時代に逃げてきたというわけか。父さん、言い訳なんかするんじゃない。
勘違いしないの。未来の私からメッセージがね。タイムマシンが壊れた時の修復やメンテナンスができるの。
汚ねえ字。
私が読めればいいの。
この俺に未来のカカロットを倒せと言うんだな。
ほらじゃねえよ。
未来に行って私の敵討ちよ。
わかりました。じゃあオラも。
ちょっと。
悟空さんを押している。スーパーサイヤ人3、これならどうだ。すげえぞトランクス。
ありがとうございます。
久しぶりだなトランクス。
お、ピッコロさん、クリリンさん。
なんだここは。
ブラック
孫悟空か。時を超えたか。なんだあいつ。
あれは
ベジータ、破壊神ビルスまで。
なんだろうね、あいつ。貴様、どうやってここまで来た。
お前が私を呼んだのかな。殺してほしいと。
カカロット。
早いもん勝ちだ。ごきげんよう孫悟空。まあいいや。おめえ強えんだって。私もこの体で君と戦ってみたかったのです。は
あ？あいつはね、私の敵よ。
敵だと？
おめえの力まだまだこんなもんじゃねえだろ。君に私を評価していただけると今度はこっちの番だ。これがスーパーサイヤ人孫悟空の力ですか。強え相手だとワクワクするんか。
どんどんパワーが上がってるぞ。俺と戦った時の力をなぜ使わないんですか。
Since launching to ng Josh Drea, iaakyat namin ang level yung kilig.
Kamot na naman, direk ko.
Itch, makadandruff. Let it go with Head and Shoulders every day.
待ってんだよ おめえのフルパワーをもっと楽しみましょう。
あのブラックってやつから感じる気がね、妙なんだよね。
この痛みがまた私を強くする。タイムマシンだと？よそ見してんな！これは時空の歪みが元に戻ろうとしているのか。
気を感じられない。完全に消えてしまっているぞ。
時の指輪の力に反応してブラックをこの時代に引き寄せたのでしょう。
戻ってきたのか。孫悟空、私は奴の戦い様を我が身に刻むことができた。タイムマシンを破壊した。トランクスはもはやあの時代から動けん。
あいつどうなったのかな。でもこれじゃ俺はもう未来に帰ることができない。未来では奴にかなう者はもう誰もいない。
番号1じゃなくて1。飛躍消防隊ただいま到着であります。放水。
そうだ！
ママ
2157. A voiceover narrates, Earth has forgotten about wars and famine. Nature has revived. Medicine has conquered deadly diseases. Humanity is exploring unknown planets, entrusting the search for extraterrestrial life in deep space to students full of strength, courage, and a belief in goodness. A young man named Max embarks on another flight. Suddenly, his spacecraft is damaged by an asteroid and makes an emergency landing on an unknown planet. Max steps outside, and immediately his shuttle explodes, leaving him without communication. But he doesn't despair, and first of all, decides to explore. By all parameters, the planet resembles Earth, and the astronaut hopes to find help and maybe a communication system here. But an indigenous inhabitant captures him in the forest. To understand the language of this planet, Max inserts a translator capsule into his ear. The indigenous person, named Zeph, turns Max over to the authorities. They put a helmet on Max that can project a person's thoughts and memories onto a screen and begin the interrogation. At the same time, in a nearby room, Corporal Gaius is assigned to transport Max to the capital as a subconvoy. Here, Max senses a strange signal, and everyone around starts chanting the anthem of the guard. Later, they pass by a strange tower, which, according to Gaius, serves to protect against enemies. Suddenly, its base explodes, and the structure collapses onto the road. Gaius is trapped inside the car, but Max pulls the corporal out. It turns out that this act was carried out by the rebels, the main enemies of the supreme authority of the state. The two men reach the capital on foot. Meanwhile, the head of the Department of Special Research, known as the Wanderer, summons his subordinate named Fank and instructs him to deliver Max to the department. Fank takes Max away, while the Republic's prosecutor reports that the Wanderer has taken in a strange savage and instructs gathering all available information about it. Then it's time to activate the towers, and everyone prepares in their own way. The prosecutor enters the bathroom and clamps a special stick between his teeth. Meanwhile, Fank has a seizure, and while soldiers assist him, Max manages to escape from the vehicle. The shocked young man walks through the city, marveling at the unfamiliar and incomprehensible life. Meanwhile, the unknown fathers gather for a meeting, as they call the rulers of this planet. After a long walk, Max enters a local cafe where he stands up for a waitress who was insulted by one of the patrons. The grateful girl introduces herself as Rada. It turns out that she is the sister of Corporal Gaius. While escorting her home, Max gets into a brawl with a street gang and defeats them. Impressed, Rada takes him to her place. Later, Gaius returns home. Max starts asking questions about the workings of their world and quickly realizes that Rada and Gaius's minds are poisoned by propaganda and false information. Rada is convinced that their planet is hollow and there is no such thing as the sky or space. Meanwhile, Gaius educates his new friend about the political structure of their state, known as Saraksh. The Unknown Fathers are the saviors of the homeland who have stopped wars with the help of defense towers that protect the country from attacks. Nobody knows the Unknown Fathers' true identities because they are not rulers, but public servants. At Max's request, Corporal recommends him for the guard. Max demonstrates a high level of training, which surprises Gaius. The two men often argue about politics, and one day Gaius admits that neighboring states hate Saraksh because they were once a single state united by a common history. Gradually, romantic feelings develop between Max and Rada. They go for walks often, and Max tells her about his home planet, Earth, and regrets that his parents believe he is dead. Soon, Max is tasked with catching rebels, whom they identify by their regular seizures reminiscent of epileptic fits. One of the rebels attacks the captain, and Max saves his life, after which the captain suddenly regrets catching them, as they are also human beings. Max reveals that he considered them something like savages. Later, Max attends interrogations and sees that the rebels are not terrorists, as the Unknown Fathers label them, but ordinary people with their ideals and beliefs. Max cannot come to terms with the cruelty of the interrogations, and simply cannot believe that someone is paying the rebels to hate the government. Meanwhile, Fank reports to the Wanderer that he has found the savage, while Gaius and Max are summoned to the captain of the guard, who orders Max to execute the arrested rebels. Max leads the condemned to the execution site in the forest, but soon he returns to the commanding officer, drops his gear and weapons, as he has released the arrested rebels, and walks away. Max begins to speak about the real and just order of the world that exists on Earth. In response, the captain shoots Max, and Gaius is ordered to write a report about the transfer. Meanwhile, the Unknown Fathers are discussing an attack on neighboring states. The prosecutor advocates for starting a war, and the Chief Father orders them to come up with a pretext, such as an attack on a tower. During this time, Max's body is recovered by the rebels. Among them is a doctor who is astonished because, according to all the rules, Max should have died. He reveals that the Unknown Fathers are a group of conspirators who have seized power and eliminated dissenters, thus diverting the population's attention from poverty and corruption. The towers are transmitters of special radiation that hypnotizes the impoverished people, although most of them do not notice it. The minority, which includes the rebels, experiences excruciating pain. The transmitters are activated twice a day across the country, causing people to go insane and die. Max is recognized as one of their own and taken for an operation to sabotage the tower, organized by the prosecutor through a traitor. Amid gunfire, Max makes his way to the transmitter and detonates it. However, the rebel squad perishes. Max seeks refuge in Rada's apartment, where he reveals everything he has learned about the towers. Gaius does not believe this and suggests that Max should return to his home and take Rada with him. But at that moment, the guards storm the apartment and arrest the men. Max is incarcerated in a prison, where he is recognized by the indigenous Zeph, who is also a rebel. Max tells Zeph about the tower's destruction and the loss of the rebel squad. Meanwhile, the Wanderer asks the prosecutor to hand over Max to him. The prosecutor, however, requests in return to halt the development of more precise transmitters, as he fears that his secret will be revealed since his reaction to the radiation is similar to that of the rebels, meaning he is also a dissenter. Later, Max and other death row inmates are sent to clear the southern borders of the remaining war robots. During this time, the prosecutor learns that Max is immune to the emitters. He decides to break the agreement with the Wanderer and orders Max to be brought to him. The next day, Max attempts to convey to the rebels the idea that they should not destroy the towers one by one, but strike at the center where the signal originates. Zeph becomes furious and explains that the towers are not for identifying dissenters. They are active continuously, not just twice a day. The radiation from the towers robs people of their ability to think critically. However, it makes them believe everything that newspapers, radio, teachers, and preachers say. People can be made to believe anything. Only the rebels understand this, as the radiation does not hypnotize them, but only inflicts agonizing pain. Zeph continues. There are mutants in the south who are also unaffected by the radiation. However, they have no dealings with humans. Just then, they hear the roar of an engine, and Zeph identifies it as a self-propelled tank, trying to kill them. Max sprints to the tank, climbs inside, and disables the automatic control system. He then informs his friends that he is heading south to find allies and destroy the towers. At the border, the military attempts to stop the tank, and among them, Max recognizes Gaius. Taking him captive, Max breaks through the barricades. On the way, Max tells Gaius about the true situation on this planet, and Gaius becomes convinced of his accuracy when, at the designated time, he is outside the tower's range and does not feel the radiation. Gaius gets angry upon realizing that he has been a puppet of the government all this time, but Max tries to calm him down and reminds him that there are 40 million people like him, and it is for them that he initiated this rebellion. During a stop, residents of the steppes, referred to as mutants, appear near the tank. They behave peacefully and offer food to the travelers. The guys proceed to the ruler of these lands, noting the poverty and destitution of the population. They are told that it is dangerous to live here after the last war, but these people are outcasts with nowhere else to go. Max suggests to their leader, the Duke, to start a rebellion against the Unknown Fathers, but the mutants are physically and morally too weak to help in the uprising. The mutants propose that the guys seek help from the Island Empire. However, to do that, they must pass through contaminated lands. So the Duke gifts them an old bomber, and the guys take to the sky. During the flight, the bomber is exposed to the radiation from the towers, and Gaius becomes fanatically devoted to Max, obstructing him from piloting. Max struggles to maintain control, and the bomber collides with a tower. Gaius suddenly snaps out of his fanatic state with no recollection of what he had just done. However, their aircraft is shot down by the automated anti-aircraft defense system left over from the previous war. The downed bomber crashes into the sea, but Max and Gaius manage to escape and reach the shore. On the shore, they discover an abandoned submarine, and Max decides to go inside. At the same time, in the city, the prosecutor orders Rada to be brought to him, and his men snatch her off the street. He claims to be Max's friend, and shows Rada a recording of his escape. However, she doesn't believe him, and refuses to assist the prosecutor in his search for her beloved. Rada is thrown into prison. Meanwhile, Gaius, impatiently waiting for his friend, swims to the submarine where they discover evidence of horrifying experiments conducted on prisoners. The guys reach the control room and view video recordings of mass executions of Gaius's fellow countrymen by the representatives of the Island Empire, whom they were seeking help from. Gaius is horrified by the fact that these monsters could invade his country. It becomes evident that forming an alliance with the Empire is not an option. The guys return to the shore, where they are met by a coastal patrol. It turns out that a war has broken out with a neighboring state, and like most of the prisoners, they will be sent to the front. Meanwhile, the Wanderer, desiring to lure Max into his department, engineers Rada's escape. He laments how the war has disrupted all his plans and assigns Fank the task of finding and bringing Max back, confessing that he is afraid of him. At the same time, Max and Gaius are dispatched to the front, where they reunite with Zeph. Their commander turns out to be the captain of the guard, who refuses to hand over the Earthling to the arriving Fank. The guys are sent into battle on old tanks when Fank finally locates Max. However, Max refuses to leave his friends and stuns the officer, tossing him into their tank. The battle commences, but Max directs his vehicle to the other side of the battlefield. Gaius blindly obeys him, influenced by the radiation, and pulls their unconscious friends out, which the captain witnesses. Gaius offers his body as a shield when the captain prepares to execute Max for desertion, but the wounded Max gathers his last strength and kills the commander. Max mourns his friend, but upon hearing Rada's name from the now conscious Fank, agrees to cooperate with the Wanderer. After the battle ends, Max buries Gaius while listening to Fenk's proposals. He will have an apartment on the Institute's premises, his car, and freedom of movement. But he will only see Rada once he proves his loyalty to the state. Meanwhile, the prosecutor heads to the Wanderer's department where he deceitfully meets with Max. He proposes that Max overthrow the Unknown Fathers by providing the coordinates of the center that controls the tower system. Upon infiltrating the center, Max must activate special radiation, causing waves of depression, which will subdue all the people in the country, including the military. Then, Max must eliminate the Unknown Fathers. Afterward, he will become the ruler of the state and free Rada, who is in the Wanderer's hands. The prosecutor will serve as his advisor. Max takes Zeph with him and embarks on the mission. He arrives at the center and issues orders to his associates, instructing them to detonate the bomb in the trunk if he does not return. He easily gains access to the interior, but is halted by guards just before reaching the elevator. Max incapacitates them, but the men regain consciousness and pursue him. Max reaches the control center and activates the depression mode throughout the country. The Wanderer watches as people fall to the ground and rushes toward the control center. Meanwhile, Max returns to retrieve the bomb, places it inside the building, and triggers it. Then, he leaves the site of the impending explosion. The Wanderer initiates a pursuit of Max and, catching up with him, engages in a confrontation. At that moment, a powerful explosion resounds, destroying the main transmitter. People on the streets begin to regain their senses and sobriety as Max rushes to find Rada and locates her in a cryo chamber. He carries the girl outside, but the Wanderer blocks his path. It is then revealed that he is, in fact, an employee of Galactic Security from Earth, who arrived on the planet 20 years ago to assist it. Now, chaos erupts on the streets, leading to a power struggle in which many people will perish. In his rage, the Wanderer beats up a foolish student who destroyed the fruits of his labor. Forgetting about economics and inflation, the state faces famine and invasion from neighboring countries. Max starts to resist and, in turn, accuses the Wanderer of allowing the construction of the towers and the enslavement of the local population. However, the Wanderer reminds him of the laws of history, where all rational beings go through the experience of wars and enslavement. This planet is no exception. It is at this point that Max declares that he is now home. As long as he is alive, he will fight against inflation, hunger, and wars, and will not allow the establishment of yet another society based on slavery. Rada comes to Max, and as they stand together, the Wanderer smiles.
Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, our first finalist, in the blue. In my not-so-humble opinion, the most creative Terran player out there. It's the Admiral, Gumiho. But once again stacked up against the Zerg in the red, the Rocky Zerg. It's Solar. A best-of-5 Terran versus Zerg. And once again, these two have it out. Last time, Gumiho got the better of Solar, but I'm sure he's still remembering.
What the? Do it, Gohan!
What is this? You gonna stand there or you gonna fight? He's as strong as I thought. I knew there was something unique about him. I'll show you real power. Is that all you've got? Your pathetic Brandon is about to die!
It's time to finish this. Oh no! The Earth is dependent on me. Spirit!
Impossible!
Hey! Over here! It's Goku! He's alive!
Hey! Daddy, you awake?
Goku, you have to wake up! This is our chance! Goku, just reach out a little! Come on, Goku, you can do it! Please! Come on! Gotcha! No more sleeping on the job.
Piccolo! You gave me your power. Thank you. I know what to do.
Stop it, you little runt! Where are you? Stop! I said stop! Stop! What? You again! But how?
KO 10!
It's you! You're in him!
We did it!
Goku, right on. Wow, Eddie!
Oh, Goku, he won! Good. That's done. Now for these clouds. The sun! I can always count on you. I just need to borrow a little energy. Yes! Ah, yeah! Yes!
What?
I'll be! Goku, you pulled another one out of the hat. You know, I'm starting to realize Goku doesn't have to be the strongest to win. Someone's watching over me. Oh.
Speaking of a job, Super Saiyan, I can gather energy a lot faster than my brother. You shouldn't have taken your eyes off me. Now die with this planet!
Delay that order. Freeze is the one in charge of this quadrant. Let him clean up his own mess. He's no threat to us.
I don't believe it. I could have killed him. I let him go. I let him go.
But you're not exactly in a position to defend yourself, are you? I don't see any of your meta-coolers coming to help you this time.
I'm not nearly as defenseless as you think. But you know the real pity? As soon as you figure that out, who will be left to stop me from devouring this planet?
I learned from my mistakes, Cooler. I know now that there's only one way to deal with your kind.
I've heard enough of you! It's just as I told you from the start. You can't win!
Even if that's true, every breath in my body will be spent trying!
And that's the last time you'll underestimate the Saiyan.
You drowned!
mosquitoes!
Leave him alone!
Can't! Please! Lend me your energy. I beg you.
Huh? Oh.
You're very brave. Too bad you have to die.
Stay away from me!
Mountains, great oceans and seas, vast lands of the earth. Please lend me your energy.
Oh, you android freak! Don't even think about it! Kakarot's mine! Back off!
Keep it coming. It's working.
Goku. The spirit bomb. Come on, Trunks. He needs you. That one was from me, android. My name is Trunks. I came here from 20 years in the future. You know what's funny about the future? You're nowhere to be seen. You're not in the future because you die right here and now today.
I know all about your spirit bomb, Goku. You need more time, which is something you don't have.
What do you know? He's transformed. That means he's pure, even as a Super Saiyan.
Huh? What's up, Dad?
Me?
Father!
My son needs my help! Don't, Goku, you're dead! Wake up! The world is depending on you, Gohan. Believe in yourself, son. Unleash your true power. It's the only way.
Yes, sir.
Was that Goku?
I know you're out there, Father. You came back to save me, and I won't let you down! I know you're kind. You think you can waltz in and just take our planet? Like you forgot one thing! I'm my father's son!
Fusion! Beetle! I will kill you!
Actually, Bojack, there is one word that comes to mind.
Yep, that's my boy. Even though you had to break the rules so he could do it.
I'm sorry. How many have I broken?
I don't know. Ask the monkey. He's the one keeping score.
I can't go out like this. I'm the daughter of Mr. Satan.
Fidel, no! I've had enough!
Not until you lie dead at my feet.
Go on, Goten.
He's too strong! We need more power!
What are we gonna do? Oh, I wish Dad was here.
Gohan! Goten!
Father!
That sounded like...
You've handled yourselves well, my sons, but this isn't your fight to finish. Broly is my concern.
Yeah, Shenron was listening.
Concentrate! Astro Fear, Goten! You can do it! Are you willing to let Broly destroy the Earth? We can end this now!
care if you are an almighty Super Saiyan. You're still a jerk. From me to you, choke on it.
Kakarot, your fusion technique almost got us both killed. Are you out of your mind?
Hey, sorry! I didn't know. Something must have gone wrong.
The two of you weren't perfectly symmetrical. Vegeta's hand wasn't in the proper position.
Oh, so it wasn't the technique. It was the execution. Watch those fingers. The index finger has to be fully stretched.
You mean we turned into that blimp because I bent one lousy finger?
Hey, don't worry. Let's give it one more shot while we still can.
Fine.
Fusion! Vegeta, look out! Pycon!
Never mind the formalities. Time's wasting. I'll hold him off. Go for it.
Awesome, Pycon! This is it, Vegeta. Come on, let's go.
You're part of that insidious barrier, aren't you? Which means you must have the same weakness.
Disgusting freak!
Incredible!
Hey! Our dad's fused!
Yeah, let's join him.
I am not Goku or Vegeta. I am Gogeta. It's over, Janempa. I come for you! Every force you create has an echo. Your own bad energy will be your undoing.
Kamikaze Ghost Attack! Line up! Ghost Attack! Yeah! Fusion rocks!
Slaughter them all!
Fight me if you're ready to die. This monster is mine to handle, alone! Father! It has a weakness! I know! Intense emotions drain its energy. That's when it can be attacked. Struck a nerve. You call that a punch? You'll have to do better than that. Don't quit now. We just started. I think it's working. That's it. Keep roaring. I'm still standing! Come on.
Thank you, Goku.
I want you to know, back there,
There's no need to explain. Whatever decision you made was the right one. If you trust your heart, it all works out in the end.
But I've already made my decision. I'm going to pulverize you until there's nothing left.
You dare say that to me?
Use your head. Do you actually think I would stay loyal to you after you blew up the planet I was destined to rule?
Well, I wonder what the Prince would do if he knew you authorized Planet Vegeta's destruction from the start.
Shh, keep that under wraps. Get down here, Krillin. Your buddy Kakarot needs a sensu beam. He's fading fast.
Okay, I'm coming. No, I don't think so. What the?
He wasn't kidding. You're in bad shape. Good thing that space cop didn't want his.
Thanks, Vegeta. You really saved my neck. You can thank me by staying out of this fight from now on. I'm finishing this.
Yeah, of course. It's your turn anyway. Have fun.
Please, if you believe you can defeat me, then you're more delusional than ever.
That's right. You had no idea, did you? I've been a Super Saiyan for years, and now I too have the power of a god. You of all people should know this, but I don't share Kakarot's taste for forgiveness. I'm sending you back to hell.
Your threats are as empty as your title. All hail Vegeta, Prince of No One. is not the way this ends!
At least try to face your death with some honor. And don't dream of resurrecting again.
You can all go to hell without me!
What? No!
Neuralink starts with a surgeon drilling a hole in your head about the size of a coin. Then a robotic arm carefully inserts the ultra-thin, flexible threads into your brain. These threads are finer than a strand of hair and are equipped with electrodes that directly interact with the cells in your brain. This implant is capable of interpreting your thoughts and applying them to real-life actions. Neuralink starts with a surgeon drilling a hole in your head about the size of a coin. Then a robotic arm carefully inserts the ultra-thin, flexible threads into your brain. These threads are finer than a strand of hair and are equipped with electrodes that directly interact with the cells in your brain. This implant is capable of interpreting your thoughts and applying them to real-life actions. Neuralink starts with a surgeon drilling a hole in your head.
Dito ka na sa tama, ang timpla. Great taste, white.
Can you guess what this is? Still not sure?
Hershey's Cookies and Cream with 2 new limited edition flavors. Try now.
Oops. Baka naghahanap ka ng murang Bluetooth amplifier. So, tingnan mo muna. Panoorin mo muna to kasi murang-mura ko lang to nabili. 200 plus. Yes guys, ganun kamura. At ang maganda dito, pwedeng kantahan. Kaya lang, itong amplifier na nabili ko to guys, ano lang, walang kasamang battery. So, kumbaga, bibili ka pa ng battery kasi pwede tong rechargeable. Pero, pwede mo naman tong magamit. Gamitin mo lang yung charger ng cellphone. Diba? So, i-unbox na natin. At tingnan natin kung anong itsura niya. Square dance ang ano nito, square dance 3.7 volts amplifier. Ito lang yung laman guys ng box, di ba? Ito yung kasama niya para to sa speaker. Yan. Tapos ito naman sa antena. So mayroon tong FM. Dito isa ilalagay yung para sa antena. Kaya lang ang masaklap para to sa speaker. Walang para sa battery. Di ba guys? Kung halimbawa, i-assemble mo to, gagawin mo rechargeable, bibili ka ng 3.7 na battery sa Lazada, 18650 battery cell, ano lang yun? 20 plus, di ba? Walang ano, walang wire, kulang yung wire na kasama sa box. Pero ganun talaga siguro. Pwede mo naman itong magamit, ang sasalpak mo lang dito yung pang charge ng cellphone, yung wire, as long as 5 volts yung ano niya, input. Pwedeng 2 ampere, 1 ampere, pwedeng ganoon, diba? And wag mo lang lalakasan kasi nakapag-try na ako noon. Pag nilalakasan siya, namamatay kasi nga dapat may battery talaga siya. And ang purpose nito, pang charge lang talaga. Pero pwede mo namang magamit to kahit walang battery. Pwedeng sa power bank, pwede mo magamit yan. Power bank lang, tapos ito. Yan. Diba? Salpak mo lang. Tapos salpak mo dito. Diba? Nag-on na. So, susunod gagawa ako ng video. And dito try natin. Maghanap ako ng speaker na ano dito, swak. Kasi ang nakalagay dun guys, ano, 15 to 30 watts daw yung pwede dito. Kaya ang speaker ko dyan mid-range lang. Mas maganda sana yung woofer para makita natin kung maganda ba yung tunog niya. Meron tong remote, may equalizer. Pwede mong i-adjust. Diba? Mapapansin nyo, may plastic pa yan. Kasi para hindi mag-consume yung battery niya. Pag tinanggal to, pwede na ito magamit. So, ipapakita ko sa inyo. Mode. Naka-Bluetooth siya. Pag pinindot yung mode, line in, di ba? Mayroon pa tong aux in. Mas makakatipid sa battery pag yun yung ginamit mo. Tapos